entertained? Are you not entertained?
Entertain me. Oh, my gosh. I don't know why I yelled so much. I shouldn't yell. It's going to hurt my voice. Guys, we got a great sports section coming your way today. We're going to talk about all that drama with the New England Patriots. So stupid. Just keep it in your pants. Allegedly. The latest stats with the ABS and the MLB. It's actually fascinating to watch this unfold. I know they've had it in the minors for a while, but the fact that it's in the MLB, I love it. I love it. But we'll see what the stats are saying. The Denver Nuggets take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in the NBA playoffs first round. We'll take a quick peek at that, see how that's going to possibly unfold. The NFL is about to go 18 games, whether the players want it or not. It's going to happen. I'll explain why. And we're going to start things off talking NFL draft. We got mock drafts, at the yin yang. Does that mean your butt? I don't know. I've heard people say that, so I'm saying it. Maybe not a good idea. Maybe that's out your pee hole. I don't know. I can't believe I just said pee hole. I'm sorry. Including, we're going to have a mock draft from our very own Connery DeHuff. Connery, what the hell? You did a mock draft? Scotty, I've been working so hard on doing this mock draft. Maybe about a month or two of work. No, you haven't. You're full of lies. Yeah, that's right. I haven't. I threw this together about 5 minutes before the show. So we'll see how it goes. All right. That's going to be interesting. That's for dang sure. Guys, can't wait to hear that one. Make sure you hit subscribe. You interact with the show any way you can. By the way, visit our studio sponsor, Storms Bros Junk Removal Studios. I said that wrong. I totally screwed that up. I'm not going to restart the show. Not for that. We're broadcasting from the Storms Bros Junk Removal Studios. Good. Flawless. Nobody will know. Check them out at Storms Bros Junk Removal. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? Oh, my God, what's wrong with my brain? Go check them out at stormsbrothersjunk.com. Again, flawless. Holy poop on a stick. Japers, crapers, I am phenomenal. Not really. Scotty, I hope you're not serious. You are not very good at your job. Connery, talk to me after you do your mock draft. Valid point. All right, guys, we got a lot coming your way. Again, hit subscribe, like button, interact with the show any way you can. But let's do this. Enough of me screwing things up. Let's go into the sports section.
He's walked the hallowed grounds of Folsom Field, Coors Field, and Mile High Stadium.
He runs to the 50. He runs to the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
It's time for Sports with DeHuff.
Well, the sports section is presented to you by Roof Goat USA. Check them out at roofgoatusa.com. NFL mock drafts are going to be amped up way insane, all the way to 11 this weekend and early next week, as the draft is next week. And it's so annoying. I was talking with Josh Dover of 104.3 The Fan this morning on Twitter, and we're talking about how the majority of mock drafts are just such a joke. It's essentially, basically, once you get past 2 mock drafts, I really can't trust what you're saying. You're just going after clicks. That's what it is. And honestly, if you trust in your work and you're not going after clicks, you do one fucking mock draft. Then I take you seriously. Otherwise, what the people that like Mel Kiper Jr., while he does have a lot of insight on players, it's ruined his intelligence with the players and what they can bring to the table and to an organization are kind of ruined by the fact that he has like 30 fucking mock drafts that start prior to the Super Bowl. It's weird. I'm not a big fan of multiple mock drafts. But what ends up happening is, you got to say maybe the first 3 to 5, they're basically locked in. Definitely the number 1 and possibly number 2, right? then after that, it's just rearranging and just seeing where can I put this guy. They might go with this guy. They might go. It's just a bunch of, I don't know. And it ends up being just clickbait. And to be honest, as a football fan, it's easy to fall for that. Doesn't matter who or whatever your team is, right? You could be the Giants, you could be the Jets, you could be the Broncos, you could be the Cowboys, whatever. Doesn't matter. You're wanting to see, who did they say we're going to draft with our first pick? Oh, that's fascinating, right? You fall for it all the time. We would fall for it, and I imagine they still do at the radio station. I worked there for 18 years, sports talk, right? And every time Mel Kiper would throw out a new mock draft, we'd go look at it and decide, is this a controversial or a hot enough topic to bring up on the show? Okay, Mel Kiper has the Broncos drafting a defensive end or a cornerback or whatever, right? Then be like, yeah, that's good. Or, nah, it's just not flashy enough. That's you fall for it. We would do that every time. And then you'd get creative too, be like, well, according to him, he has this team picking this guy, before or after the, Broncos. And then you would just kind of debate that too. We fall for it. It's all clickbait. And I can respect that. I can, but it's annoying. There's really not that much intelligence into that. I will say this, what's really cool is the guys that do, like Mel Kiper Jr., what is neat is he does these draft profiles for every player, all the top players. So when we'd find out who the Broncos picked, we had a database, and we just type in the guy's name real quick, pull up the audio, and then play it. And it made you sound really cool, even though it was either Fox Sports or ESPN that had produced it for us. But he has a lot of great insight that he puts into that. It'll be like Mike Washington of Arkansas, solid running back, blah, 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 can evade this, great out of the backfield, needs some work on the pass blocking or something like that. That's what he would do. And it's very detailed. It's just with the mock drafts, they get a little bit, that intelligence gets kind of tossed to the side. But speaking of intelligence that does not get tossed to the side, our very own Connery DeHuff. Connery, let's do this. Let's jump into your mock draft.
Connery DeHuff's mock draft.
Nice beaver.
Thank you.
Mock draft.
Why did you put that soundbite in there? That makes no sense. Scotty, come on. Do you think I'm going to take this seriously? No, this is my version of a mock draft. These are the fellas that I think need to go high on the board no matter what. I don't care their skill set. We're going off of names, purely names. That's it. Oh, great. Talk about putting in all the hard work. Some people call me the Mel Kiper Jr. of doing jack shit. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Connery, who's your first one that you're going to go with in your mock draft? Scotty, we're going to go with Jack Pyburn. He's a edge rusher out of LSU. Why would you go with him? Because I gave someone a Pyburn once. Maybe she gave it to me. Either way, I had to get a shot of penicillin. And that really took me down memory lane, Scotty. Oh, God. Oh, my God. This is where we're at. Okay, next. You don't like what I'm doing now, Scotty? You know who likes what I do? Your mother. Okay, stick to the draft. All right, Scotty, the next one, Garrett DeJono. I don't think that's how you say his name. Well, that's how I'm saying it because every time I look at this God from UCLA. It makes me think of a DiGiorno pizza, which is a delicious product that I like to consume after a long night of love making. Scotty, by the way, it reminds me. Please tell your mother that King Soopers has a special on DiGiorno and she needs to stock up. Do you know what that implies there, Scotty? Shut up. Did I get your panties in a bunch there, Scott? No, stop it. On to the next one. All right, Scotty, the next one is a linebacker out of Cincinnati. His name's Jack Dingo, which was my alias when I was in the adult film industry back in the day. My famous tagline was, "It's time to jack my dingo." It was a solo series. A solo series. It did quite well on the VHS. It wasn't Laserdisc. No, no. Okay. By the way, that'd be weird to have a dicks. It'd be weird to have a laser dick. Scotty, that was a dream of mine. I had a laser dick. Let's stick to the mock draft. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Finally, Scotty, my last pick that I say that needs to be consumed by a team, Scooby Williams, a linebacker out of Texas A&M. I just like this because his name's Scooby, like the dog. And all dogs need love. Speaking of that, guess what my favorite lovemaking position is, Scotty? It's doggy style. Yeah, I put 2 and 2 together, Connery. Oh my God, I'm sorry, guys. I thought he would have put in a little bit more effort and give you legitimate picks. Those people that thought this was going to be legitimate are fucking morons, Scotty. Okay, thank you, Connery. My goodness gracious. The NFL could add an 18th game as soon as 2028. That's according to sources. And I know they say could add an 18th game as soon as 2028. But let's be honest, this is going to happen. It's going to happen because money talks. And I know people like to think that no, not our owner. Our owner cares about the players. They don't want an extra game for them to get hurt. Okay, that's fine. Just because we want more games doesn't mean that's the right decision. Sure. That's like 1% of the people thinking that. Not everybody's thinking that. Because it's an extra game for players to get hurt. Us fans, ultimately, the overwhelming majority of us just want more action. Good action. None of this, let's have more preseason games. No. They already trimmed off one. They're going to trim off another. This is going to go to 2 preseason games, and that third preseason game is just going to be added in. It's going to gel into the regular season. That's what's going to happen. Owners will say it's not about money when it comes to making this decision. But let's live in reality. This is all about money. And if you think it's not, you're living in denial. Right, Jerry?
I want me some glory hole.
Yeah, because he wants to upgrade those restrooms at the stadium to have glory holes.
I want me some glory hole.
I already said that that's what you want. God, Jerry. Dab. I want me a glory hole. If I ever went to the stadium and I was able to sneak in like a little drill with those one drill bits that will make I don't know. I'm not a super handy guy, but I can look at a tool and tell you what it's basically used for the most part. The basic tools, right? And then it's one of those, not necessarily a drill bit, but it's one for making a bigger hole, right? I'd like to sneak one in there and use a bunch of different restrooms and just put glory holes in all the restroom stalls. Hey, it's my gift to you, Dallas. Somebody's going to be in there taking dropping a load, and they're like, oh, well, isn't that nice? And all of a sudden they get almost poked in the eye. Don't be looking through the holes at, the Cowboys stadium, okay? Bad idea. Anyway, going back to the 18th game for the NFL, It's a business. The NFL and its teams, it's a business. And businesses need to make money. Good ones do, right? So there is zero doubt in my mind that this is going to happen. So be ready for it. Would they say 2028? As soon as 2028. Don't be dialing me up and it's like 2028 and they're like, no, it's going to happen in 2029. You're so wrong. First of all, don't hold on to that shit. It's going to happen. It's going to happen 2028-ish. And the reason why it's not guaranteed that it's going to happen exactly on 2028 is obviously there's a lot of red tape in there. That you got the NFL Players Association that has to deal with these things and deal with a new contract and you know, there's a lot that goes into it. Okay, there is. But me as a fan, I want this. Are you kidding me? More Bronco games to watch? I have tons of people that listen in New York. More Bills games, more Jets games. Well, maybe not the Jets. Giants games, yes, right? Although the Jets could turn it around this year. But the same thing for everywhere else, like Texas. You guys have a bunch of teams too. It doesn't matter where your team is at. You're going to be excited for an extra real game. Because what always happens now, the interesting thing is going to be the preseason games. Preseason games were great to find that diamond in the rough, the guy that maybe doesn't practice as well, but man, when he puts on the pads and it's game time, whoa, holy crap. Why didn't we notice this guy before? Terrell Davis made a huge impact in a preseason game in Japan, and he was trying to leave the country, and he couldn't due to a language barrier. He was literally trying to get a flight home because he's like, I'm done. I can't do this. And then he goes out and plays that game in Japan for the Broncos preseason, ends up making a huge play on special teams, and the rest is NFL history because now he is in the Hall of Fame. And I also stuck my finger in his mouth that one time, okay? We don't need to go down that story. It's his fault, not mine. If you want me to share the story, please let me know on Spotify. I'm more than willing to tell it again. I just don't think I need to tell it now again. But anyways, that's what is going to be interesting. It's going to be a little bit harder on the teams to find those guys. It's a lot of pressure on the guys wanting to make the team. So that's going to be interesting how teams deal with this. Because you could miss out on somebody special because you didn't have that extra preseason game to filter things out. So, wow. I'm curious to see how that works. I'm curious to hear how somebody like, say, Sean Payton comes out and says, you know, his thoughts on going to 18 games and seemingly trimming down to 2 preseason games. I'm guessing he's going to say something like this.
I mean, it was a little bit of a cluster, you know what?
Yeah, it might be a bit of a clusterfuck, guys. I'll say it. It is. Anyway, yeah. Let me know your thoughts. Are you excited about it, or are you a little bit hesitant when you start to think about all the workings around it? 18 games, that's great. That's fantastic. But now you're going to have to pull back probably on preseason games, or you're going to have to start the NFL preseason sooner. One or the other. So also now there's so many stats that are just blowing up, by the way. We already added the 17th game. So if you're a quarterback and you're chucking 4,000 to 5,000 yards, it doesn't mean as much when you have 2 extra games at that point. Same thing with touchdowns and rushes and stuff like that. So that's something that is also a, you know, innocent bystander to extending the regular season. So there's a lot going on. You let me know. Hey, real quick, when it comes to roof repairs, you're going to want to go with the best. You're going to need to go with the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? Roof Goat USA. Check them out at Roof Goat USA right now, roofgoatusa.com right now. And they handle business in Michigan. They handle it here in Colorado. All you got to do, go to their website, and they have a thing so you can get a free evaluation. They'll send somebody out and check out your roof, see what's going on. Doesn't matter if you're just, I just want to see if it's okay. Doesn't matter to have somebody come out and check out your roof. It's a good thing. I'd rather do that. In fact, I might have them come out, check out my roof just to make sure things are good. Even though I got a new roof not too long ago, it's good to have somebody just inspect it. And you want to go with somebody that you can trust. That's the Roof Goat USA crew. They've been in business for well over 24 years. They got roots in Michigan, and they got roots here in Colorado. They're not just coming in because there's a big storm like a lot of companies do. No. They ain't leaving. They're not leaving. They're cemented here, and they understand the business, whether it's repair, replacement, insurance claims. Roof Goat USA's experienced professionals are committed to delivering reliable and durable solutions. And what's really cool, too, whether it's commercial, whether it's residential, whether it's metal roofs, maybe it's just standard shingles, they can deal with it all. And they're also going to put a 30-year guarantee on that. That's 30-year coverage from install date that covers all materials and labor, again, for 30 years from date of installation. That's the Roof Goat USA way. For all your roofing needs, go ahead, contact the GOAT. Again, roofgoatusa.com. Again, I said again twice, and that really bugs me. roofgoatusa.com. One more time, just because I'm special. roofgoatusa.com. Experience the Roof Goat USA difference today. I'm no good with words. No. The Denver Nuggets are going to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 1 starting this Saturday. I'll give you a quick look at the schedule. Saturday's game, it's home. The first two games, obviously, because Nuggets have home court advantage over the Timberwolves. First two games in Denver. Saturday is going to be 1:30 Denver time. It's going to be on Prime. That's the world we're living in, guys. It's going to be on Prime. There's a good chance KUSA will try to pick some of these games up as well. They do a good job with that. Monday's game is going to be a late game. It's going to be 8:30 p.m. Denver time. That's going to be on NBC. Hopefully that'll be on Peacock as well. Give you more options. Then Thursday and Saturday will be in Minnesota. Those are both. One's a 7:30 game. One's a 6:30 game. That's going to be on Prime, then ABC. So here's the thing. Denver, the number 3 seed. Minnesota, the number 6 seed. I say this all the time. It doesn't really matter what your seed is because we've all watched sports enough to know that it's a whole new ball game once the playoffs start. And you just got to, tighten up your bootstraps and go forward and get that new mentality working for you. I always say this, and I thought this was hilarious. Back in the day, do you guys, when the Broncos went to Super Bowl 50, here's what's funny, and a lot of people forget this. Leading up to before they clinched their number 1 seed, which they almost didn't get. There was a lot of, because Peyton Manning was having such a shitty year. There was a lot of talk that the Broncos were trash. They'll be lucky to make the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. And then they end up doing what they ended up doing, partly because the defense was carrying that team. And then when they got to the playoffs, they threw it into a higher gear. And C.J. Anderson, by the way, C.J. Anderson deserves a lot of credit to the Denver Broncos winning Super Bowl 50. Everybody looks at the Broncos defense. They deserve a lot of that credit. Von Miller especially, and DeMarcus Ware. But C.J. Anderson was phenomenal. If they wouldn't have given Von Miller the Super Bowl 50 MVP, my vote was for C.J. Anderson. But the point is, the Denver Broncos weren't a solid number one seed going into those playoffs. They were a rocky one. You didn't really know what Peyton Manning was going to do. He got benched for Osweiler. Osweiler, you could have made the case for Osweiler to start that game. In fact, that game might have been a little bit more distant in the score if Brock Osweiler was at the helm. Doesn't matter. The point that I'm getting to is it really doesn't mean shit to what you do in the regular season. It all matters what you do in the preseason. It's not what you've done, it's what you're doing for me now. And can the Nuggets go into this series against Minnesota and dick slap them? Hell yes, I think they can. But let's not think that this is going to be an easy roll through. It's not. Minnesota's not going to go down without a fight. The Nuggets have a phenomenal offense. They have to get their defense under control. The great thing, the thing that really makes me happy is their bench is so deep. That is a huge advantage for the Nuggets in comparison to last season. That was the thing that we all said that they needed to fix, and they fixed it. They beat the Spurs the other day, minus the Spurs didn't have Wemby, but Jokic only played the first half. The rest were essentially the bench players, and they won. So I'm confident. If I were to put a number on this, I don't like to go with sweeps, but I'll say Nuggets win in 5, which would mean that they would advance to the next series on Ball Arena floor, which would be great. So I'm excited about that. You let me know real quick, but I put up this poll before the show started. I said, who will go further in the playoffs, Nuggets or Avalanche? And I put Nuggets, Avalanche, and then I put a third one is tie / I can't decide. As of right now, nobody's voting for the Nuggets. Avalanche, 71.4. Maybe I shouldn't have put the tie, I can't decide, because that's at 28.6. We'll see. Check that out on my DeHuff Podcast Twitter account, at DeHuff Podcast. I kind of agree with that. But that being said, remember when I made that statement where I was like, I just don't believe in the Nuggets? Well, then they went on a fucking tear. You're welcome again. But you guys got to fucking keep going. There's no time to half-ass it. Everybody needs to bring their game. It's like the cliche shit. You guys, we shouldn't even have to say that to a team. Oh, you got to make sure you come in here ready to play. Well, yeah, no shit. You say that. Be like, oh, no shit, they should be doing that. They're professionals. Yeah, I know, but there's plenty of times, plenty of examples where you got players go out there and they don't seem like that they're fully in it. That should never be the fucking case. But it's got to be a 100% team effort, which is, again, very cliche. I'm retweeting that, and I voted for the Avalanche. Oh, look at me. I feel so silly. Anyway, the ABS and the MLB, there have been nearly 1,000 calls challenged with 55% overturned. Well, I've talked about this real quick. There's been some that people are like, "Oh man, that umpire got that wrong," but it's like this, like within a 0.1 inch of being a strike or a ball. That one, I can't knock the umpire on that. That anybody would fuck that one up. I feel like that one, that's a coin toss, whether you got it right or not. So I don't like to bag on the umpires for that shit. What bugs the snot out of me is when it's straight down the middle, well in the strike zone, and they're like, ball outside. You're like, no, it's not. It's in the fucking middle. The hell's wrong with you? Are you fucking blind? Like, that's your job. That's your job, is to use your eyeballs and figure out this little box that is called the strike zone. And you know that that's your gig. That's your only thing that you got going on. It's wild to me that they fucked that up so much. 47% of challenges have been initiated by the batter. 61% of fielder initiated the challenges. But I'll say this. Overall, this is exposing the umpires, which I've discussed before, but it's also exposing the broadcasters. If you watch these clips, the really bad ones, the really obvious ones where it's like strike right down the middle and they call it ball, you can tell that the broadcasters, they either can't really see, even though they're only like, you know, in the second level right behind the home plate. Been up there several times, not to brag. I was up there when Alfred Williams, we were in Scottsdale covering spring training for the Colorado Rockies. We were broadcasting a show, and I have a picture. If you ask Alfred, he loves it. I want to say like a year ago, he asked for that picture, and I had it still of him. He's doing a show, and he caught the ball during the show. Like it was a foul ball. He caught it. But looking from there, unless you're not centered with the plate, I guess that would be your excuse. But most of the time, you have a pretty good shot as a broadcaster. So what I think the ABS is exposing too is, going back to my original point, is a lot of times the broadcasters aren't paying attention, or they suck at calling a ball strike too. Because there's been plenty of times where it's way outside and the umpire, they're just following the lead of the umpire. But why would you say that's a strike? It's really, then you watch the replay and you're like, dude, what the fuck? So it's exposing two things. I should ask Drew Goodman how hard that is. One of these. Maybe I'll get him on one of these days. He does baseball play-by-play. I mean, what else has he got going on? Nothing much. He just wakes up late, saunters into the broadcast booth, does a show, goes home. Seems pretty simple. That's one thing that I've noticed is broadcasters are also being exposed, as not all of them, but there's some that you can tell that they might be doing something else, and they just look and hey, what did he call? Oh, he called a ball. Okay, ball. And then it's like, dude, that was right down the fucking middle. Now you both sound fucking blind. Hey, we got the mailbag coming up, but real quick. Hey, put your junk in our trunk. Scotty, now you're talking my language. I love it. Connery, we're talking about Storms Bros junk removal. Oh, hey, either way, tomato, I like them too. If your home, garage, or office, or maybe even your yard is looking like a disaster zone, you screwed up saying disaster zone. Let's put that out there real quick, Scotty. Okay, you don't need to point out all my flaws, because there's a lot. I know I'd be here all day, but get back to the commercial, Scotty. Okay, anyway, go to stormsbrothersjunk.com right now. Sign up for a free quote. You can send them a picture. You can, if you go to follow them on Facebook, send them a direct message with a picture of your junk. Scotty, you better clarify on that one. Okay, unwanted junk. That's what you want to do. Okay, if you got a bunch of like mattresses or something, be like, hey, here's a picture of that. Not the other stuff that you were quickly going to. Good call. That's called CYA, Scotty. Anyway, what you need to do if you need some stuff removed from your house, it's a big mess, and you want to relieve that stress, contact Storms Bros Junk Removal right now. Things pile up very quickly. It happens. We're in the middle of spring cleaning. And next thing you know, maybe you have kids moving out. You know, maybe you're just like my wife, who's like super organized. She's like, it's that time of year again. We need to purge. Well, this is what you do. Sometimes you just got a whole bunch of stuff. And Storms Bros Junk Removal can help get rid of all kinds of things. Like I said earlier, it could be mattresses, it could be couches, box springs, appliances, electronics. Maybe you got a bunch of, debris from tree branches or something like that. Drywall, construction materials. It doesn't matter. They can handle it all. What you need to do, go to stormsbrothersjunk.com right now. Get a free quote. Super simple. They make it very easy for you. That's stormsbrothersjunk.com, or you can give them a call, 303-736-9404. Again, 303-736-9404. It's Storms Bros Junk Removal. Put your junk in our trunk. And what we should do right now is jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag. You've got mail.
All right, this comes in from Dougie Doug. Dougie Doug spinning the hot wax. I could never be a DJ. Somebody asked me once to be a DJ at like it wasn't a wedding. It was like a company event. And I'm like, no. I don't want a bunch of, businessmen coming up and be like, hey, can you play Thriller? I think that'll really get the crowd pumped up. No. Dougie Doug said, the irony of NFL reporter Dianna Russini, is that how you say it? I don't. Anyway, resigning from The Athletic after the resort photos with Mike Vrabel came out is, I'm sure a lot of the peeps in corporate are slamming their secretaries. I'm guessing Dougie Doug means like maybe the people at The Athletic or the people judging her and him are doing the same thing, essentially. Yeah, probably. There's probably a good chunk of that. But, a lot of people that are doing shady things behind the scenes, that they're trying to make themselves publicly look good. And so that's why they would take that stance. I don't think she should have had to resign. And I'm curious if that was a forced resignation. Either way, I can't imagine it would be a comfortable environment to be in after that, because she has now, whether she likes it or not, and whether they were officially doing anything or not, she's going to have a reputation, which ruins her credibility as a reporter. Well, how'd she get that scoop? How does she know that information? Blah, 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 blah. Well, the old hobnob approach, okay? The old polishing the knob routine. You know what I mean? So who's going to start today? Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But you see what I'm saying? And I know some individuals that had that reputation. And it sucks because whether it's true or not, I mean, the info's, if the info's good, I mean, who cares? How'd she get that info? It doesn't matter. It's true. But let's be honest. Ladies can understand this one. It's if the roles were reversed, nobody'd be bagging on the dude, and the dude would probably still have a job. And that's not me being a, girl power type of thing. That's just reality, guys. We live in a very hypocritical society. That's just the way it is. But then the irony is, if it was two dudes, then he would be resigning, right? So that's also something out there. How do you get that info? Well, he's slobbering his knob. That's how he got it. Oh, well, that's gross. You shouldn't do that. So I don't agree with it. And I do recall some of the ladies that used to work here in Denver, and it was a very hard battle for them, even the ones that didn't have any rumors for or surrounding. Like, they had to be very careful and very private with their lives, because you don't want to be the one going out and you're in a situation and then people are like, well, guess how she's getting her info and guess how she's succeeding, because that's just the way it is. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but that's the hypocrisy that that the situation is. Robert Kraft allegedly chimed in on this, and I guess he tried to give some advice to Mike Vrabel about, what was going on. And apparently he said, Mike, hey, maybe next time just get a massage. I got a place in Florida. Just let me know. I got points. I got a frequent flyer, whatever that is. It's a punch card. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Hey, real quick, I had a cool moment last night. The Wolf Pack. I guess I called them the Waffles the other day, and they didn't even realize that I didn't say Wolf Pack. I was like, Waffles, eyes on me. And they all turned around, and they're like, yes, coach. And I kind of like it. Waffles are delicious, especially with butter and syrup. Just saying. Cool moment last night. We're battling a team from Westminster, and they were a very good team. But our guys refused to quit. And we had a very explosive, I want to say, third inning. And it was neat. And we had some really good pitching going for us. We're at a moment where, like, shoot, you're trying to stay competitive in the game. And there's rules, pitch counts. If you're a catcher and pitcher, and some of our guys they can do both. So we're like, we need to rearrange it, and we need to try to win this game. And Coach Carl's like, we're sitting there going, okay, who do we got? What we need somebody solid so we can move the basically the guy catching to pitcher, or so I can't remember. It was something like that. We need to do a bunch of rearranging. And we get to the point where we're like, shit, what's our depth chart on catchers? We're like, fuck. But there's this one guy on our team who is if you're a hiring manager, when this kid is eligible to work, I will give him a job recommendation because he will be phenomenal. He is a whatever it takes type of guy. You need me to go scrub this? Sure, absolutely. You got it. Yes, sir. After every single game, after every single practice, he comes up to every single coach. He'll go up to the umpires, everybody, and he looks you in the eye and shakes your hand and tells you thank you. That's what kind of guy this is. What do you need me to do, coach? Sure, I'll do it. So we're sitting there talking, and he's like, what do you think about, and I'm not going to say his name, but it starts with A. And we're like, well, we all kind of like did the head tilt, like, I don't know. I could see him doing it. I don't know if he's ever done it before. So I go ask him. I was like, do you have a cup? He's like, yep, because you can't catch without a cup. And Carl goes and talks to him. He's like, well, would you want to try catching? Sure. You got it, coach. I'm like, oh, fuck. So we put him in there. Guys, this is his first time fucking catching. You would swear he's done 20 games. It was awesome. And now our depth chart is a little bit deeper when it comes to catcher, which is fantastic, which is what you want. And so he got the game ball. because he came. Not only that, he had a good hit, and he has that attitude that you just want, and you know that he's going to bring a positive attitude to the field. And that's not knocking anything that anybody else did, but it's just a good. It's a shining light on that generation, because so much people will bag on millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. There's always somebody, usually the boomers, that are pissing on them and saying that they don't have good work ethic. Yeah, there is. There is great work ethic. And it's not just about willingness to do a job. It's about willingness to do the job right. And it was very cool. The Waffles won 8-7. I was so proud. We had Q go in there to pitch, closed them out. Oh, it was good. It was a good moment. It went down to the wire. It was a phenomenal game. In Westminster, they did a wonderful job as well. And I was very proud. It was a very proud moment. I was very excited, and it was neat to see. And I hope that spills over onto the other guys. And that's why you want, when you build a team, whether it's in business or sports, you want people like that are going to go, let's just get the job done, because I'm here for the team, not about individual success. And even he said that. He's like, yeah, but we all did great, coach. That's what he was saying to me. I was like, you did phenomenal. Yeah. He doesn't want to take all the credit. He's just like, yeah, we did really good. Like, God dang it, man. That's what you want. That's what you want. So be somebody like that today. Be somebody like that. Try to find those. If you're in leadership roles, try to find those individuals and try to prop them up and let other people see that is the way to work. Because if we're not careful, guys, we're going to have a bunch of pussies out there running this society, and there's going to be a bunch of people that don't want to put in the extra work. So we want a bunch of people like that go in there and be like, I'm not afraid to do this gig. I've never done it before, but you know what? I've been paying attention. I get the gist. Coach is telling me more things to do. What do I need to do? I think maybe one ball got past him or something like that. And to be honest, in fairness to him, it like ate the dirt before. And it was just I don't know. Just putting it out there. I know I got all serious at the end. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Anyway, you guys are amazing. Hopefully you have a great day. That's it for the sports section from the Storms Bros Junk Removal Studios. Don't forget to check them out at stormsbrothersjunk.com and get a quote on that junk. Also, big thanks to Roof Goat USA. Go to roofgoatusa.com if you're in Michigan or in Colorado and get that free evaluation. Somebody's going to come out to your house, check out your roof, and see what's going on. And if there's something that needs to be repaired, they'll start making a game plan with you. So anyway, guys, have an amazing day. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next time.